Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for live coverage on the commentary hub of Newcastle United versus Arsenal. This is the 192nd meeting between the two teams, and Newcastle have won 68 of those. Arsenal have won 84, and there have been 39 draws. The Gunners have won 19 out of the last 22 against the Toon. This would appear to be a very, very tight game with both teams on form. It is the best offense against the best defense, against the second best defense. It's Newcastle versus Arsenal at St James's Park today. And really happy you're joining us, and welcome from wherever you're joining us in the world. We're going to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. We've got rather blusterous weather at St James's Park. It looks like there is lots of fans now streaming into the stadium, and we are about to get underway. Players are about to come out onto the pitch. Of course, for Newcastle, despite their top heavy on goals, they are without Alexander Isak today. He's out until after the international break. And of course, no Tonali as well, who is out for the whole season. So we'll just take a look at the starting lineups, and we are going to start with Newcastle, who have made 8 changes from their last game against Manchester United in the League Cup. They line up as follows. They're managed by Eddie Howe, and they have Nick Pope in goal. At the back four is Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, Jamal Lascelles, who wears the captain's armband today, Kieran Trippier. The midfield is Joel Linton, Sean Langstaff, and Bruno Guimaraes. And the front line, free scoring at the moment, Anthony Gordon, Callum Wilson, and Miguel Almiron. And for Arsenal, there are 6 changes in the Arsenal lineup from their disappointing defeat to West Ham in the League Cup in the week. They are managed, of course, by Mikel Arteta. They have David Raya in goal, Takahiro Tomiyasu, William Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, and across midfield they have Kai Havertz, Jorginho wearing the captain today in place of the injured Martin Odegaard, and Declan Rice is the other midfielder. The 3 on the front are Gabriel Martinelli, Eddie Nketiah scoring, coming in form right now, just off a hat-trick against Sheffield United, and Bukayo Saka. For the substitutes, Newcastle United have gone with Martin Dubravka, Paul Dummett, Emil Kraft, Lewis Hall, Tino Livramento, Matt Ritchie, Jacob Murphy, and Joel Willock and Lewis Miley. For Arsenal, well, they've got 2 substitute goalkeepers on the bench in Aaron Ramsdale and Carl Hein. The rest of the substitutes are Jacob Kiwior, Cedric Suarez, Alexander Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, Mohamed El Neni, Leandro Trossard, and Reiss Nelson are all relegated to the bench from the defeat against West Ham. And our referee today is Stuart Atwell. He's 41 from Nuneaton in Warwickshire. He's a Premier League referee, UEFA official, and FIFA official. He's made his Premier League debut as the youngest person to ever referee in the Premier League. He was demoted in 2012, but returned to the select group of 1 referees in March 2016. His appearances in total all competitions, he's had 10 appearances, shown 38 yellow cards, 2 red cards, and 2 penalties. And he's joined on the lines with Richard West and James Mannering. The 4th official is Graham Scott, and in Stockley Park today is Andy Madley and Stuart Burt as the Newcastle players come onto the field. And just looking basically at the history between these two sides, they've of course met each other on 191 occasions previous to this. This is 192nd meeting between the two sides. They actually first met on September the 2nd in 1893 in a League Two match at the Manor Ground, Plumstead, in front of 6,000 people. Arsenal drew 2-2. Woolwich Arsenal 2-2 with Newcastle that day. And the news events of 1893, some interesting stuff. On June the 7th, Mahatma Gandhi's first civil act of disobedience. And on December 24th, Henry Ford completes his first useful petrol and gasoline fueled engine as well. And we've already got a comment in the comment section, and it is Luke Turton. Good evening, Luke. It's good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Looking forward to this game tonight. Well, I think we all are, Luke. I think it's going to be an amazing game. I think, as I said earlier, we've got the best offense versus the second best defense. And although there is some notable absenteeisms from both teams, really, Gabriel Jesus, of course, he's out till the end of November. Thomas Partey, we don't know when he's coming back as of yet. And Emil Smith Rowe is currently being assessed on day to day. He misses out today. Of course, Jordan Timber is out until 2024 as well. So added as well with Martin Odegaard not in the squad at all today. And of course, Newcastle themselves have some notable absenteeisms. They've got a list of injuries, also including, of course, Elliot Anderson, who's out till December, Harvey Barnes until January, Sven Botman till the end of the international break, along with Alexander Isak. Jacob Murphy returns to the bench today, but Sandro Tonali is out until August of next year. So lots and lots of injury worries for both teams to be concerned about. And also with the history of Newcastle, looking at Newcastle this season, they've been extremely impressive, but not so much so against some of the bigger teams. Against some of the teams challenging more at the top of the league, they have a less than impressive win record at 18%, as we're now going to stop for a minute's silence to remember the dead of the Great Wars. And as we sit in freedom, let us never forget. We will remember them. And as Arsenal now gather in a circle in the centre of the pitch just to go over their final preparations. Arsenal in their famous red and white shirts, white shorts and red socks today. For Newcastle, well, they're in their usual black and white stripes, of course, black shorts and black and white socks. And Eddie Howe can really look at this as being a very successful season so far. Arsenal are going to get the game underway, attacking the goal to our right here at St James's Park. And I hope you're going to enjoy this coverage as much as we are. We really are in for a treat this afternoon, folks. The game is underway, and it goes all the way right back to David Raya, who is almost halfway inside the Arsenal half of the field. He launched it downfield quickly. That's just headed away by Dan Burn, and that's Joel Linton just trying to hack the ball away, but it breaks free. Over on the far side is Martinelli in the centre circle, trying to keep possession of the ball, but he loses it quickly. And here's Callum Wilson now, midway inside the Arsenal half. It's Gordon, gives the ball to Joel Linton. Linton, edge of the penalty area, plays the ball out onto the far side. It's Trippier. Trippier is going to get the cross in here. It's just headed out there by William Saliba. And already this game has started at 100 mile an hour. Cleared away that time by Gabriel. It's going to be a throw into Newcastle. And they decide to drop it back to the halfway line. And it's Fabian Schär. Gives it to Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles plays the ball forward over on the far side. And that's Guimaraes just picking up the ball. He drops the ball back there to Lascelles. And Lascelles gives the ball back to Fabian Schär. Schär tries to play the ball forward to Joel Linton. He just gets there ahead of Eddie Nketiah. And Newcastle now have the ball just inside their own half. It's Dan Burn. Gives the ball to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär back to Burn. Dan Burn now just plays the ball forward over the halfway line to Anthony Gordon. He just steps back into his own half and drops it back to Dan Burn. And all the way back now to Nick Pope inside the Newcastle goal. Gets his first touch of the ball and he launches it long. He's looking for Callum Wilson there, but it goes over the head of Wilson and goes all the way through to David Raya in the Arsenal goal. And he gives the ball there to Saliba. And Saliba gives the ball back to Raya. And just an interesting stat, really, in terms of Arsenal's defence. They are second best at the moment in the Premier League with everything except saves. They're actually 18th in terms of saves. So I mean, this is definitely interesting in the sense that some of the goalkeeper may be in question here as well. But here is Ben White, midway inside his own half. White just drops the ball back to Bukayo Saka, but it's knocked out of play and it's going to be a throw. Bukayo Saka now just takes a throw in quickly. And the referee has called something there. I'm not sure exactly what he's given there, but he's given a free kick, a throw in again. Dan Burn takes the throw in this time and takes it all the way back into his own half of the field. And he drops it back to Fabian Schär on the edge of the penalty area. Fabian Schär just then goes back to Nick Pope. And Nick Pope plays it short as Newcastle trying to play out from the back here. It's Fabian Schär. Just looking for options. He gives the ball to Dan Burn. Quick passing by Newcastle, but they're being pressed by Arsenal here. And Kai Havertz wins the ball back, but he's determined to have fouled. And it's going to be a free kick for Newcastle. So Stuart Atwell blowing up on that one. And the first foul of the game. And Stuart Atwell now is just going over to try to talk to Eddie Nketiah about something, but it is going to be a free kick to Newcastle, which Fabian Schär will take, which is right on the edge of their own penalty area. Fabian Schär now just plays it short as again Newcastle just passing around their own penalty area, and Arsenal quite happy to press them. And it's across to Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles just plays the ball forward there, just looking for Guimaraes. Drops it back to Trippier. And all the way back to the goalkeeper, Nick Pope, and he gives the ball to Fabian Schär again. Schär just plays the ball long over on the far side looking for Trippier. Trippier just picks up the ball there, and he's just got it inside his own half under pressure from Martinelli. Plays the ball forward to Longstaff, but it's comfortably won back by Takehiro Tomiyasu. Good work by him. And now Arsenal coming forward again. It's William Saliba inside the Newcastle half of the field. And it's Declan Rice. Down this side to Ben White. Over on the far side again to Declan Rice. Drops the ball to Jorginho. Jorginho to Gabriel. Over on the far side to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu plays the ball forward to Martinelli. He's got two Newcastle players around him. One of them, Trippier, finds Tomiyasu again. And it's Declan Rice. Gives it to Jorginho. back to Rice. And he just plays the ball down to Martinelli again. Martinelli just lifts the ball in, looking for Nketiah. Good work by Jamal Lascelles that time. And now Newcastle can try and break away. And the ball is played by Callum Wilson to Kieran Trippier, but it was just a ways away from Trippier. He wasn't able to link up with that pass, and it goes out of play for a throw-in to the Arsenal. But the referee has seen something else. It looks like he's given a free kick instead, in fact. So it's a free kick to Newcastle. And Trippier just knocks the ball on here, looking for Guimaraes. And Guimaraes is away now. And it gives it to Almiron. Almiron cuts into the penalty area. Oh, it's a good challenge by Takahiro Tomiyasu. It's back to Longstaff. Longstaff crosses it in, punched out by Raya. And only as far as Longstaff again. Gives the ball to Dan Burn. Burn just drops the ball back there. And it's now with Fabian Schär. He gives the ball to Joe Linton. Joe Linton tries to play the ball forward, and Wilson's just trying to link up on the end of that. He's in the penalty area now. Gives it to Anthony Gordon. Pressure by Newcastle early on here. Long ball by Guimaraes on the far side to Trippier. Trippier's got Martinelli in front of him. Played into the penalty area there, but it wasn't. Oh, that's a crunching challenge, and it's going to be a free kick. Well, it was Eddie Nketiah that clashed there with Guimaraes, and it's going to be a free kick. And it looks like he's given the free kick to Arsenal. Yes, a lunge in there by Guimaraes. It was a meaty challenge by the Brazilian, but it's been adjudged to have been fouled. And it's a free kick to the Gunners on just a few yards outside of their own penalty area. And David Raya is going to take this one. And David Raya is over this. And just looking there at Ben White. Well, 7 minutes gone here. It's Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0. And a comment from Joe Smoke. Great commentary as usual. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. And the ball is played forward here with to Martinelli. Back to Jorginho. Jorginho drops it back to Takahiro Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu drops it back into his own half to Gabriel. Gabriel goes back to David Raya. He's just having to scramble a bit, is David Raya, with Wilson closing in on him. It's headed forward there by by Ben White again. And Joe Linton tries to win the ball back there, but Ben White comes away with it and he finds Kai Havertz. He's got space in front of him as Kai Havertz. He's got Bukayo Saka alongside him. Bukayo Saka now gets into the penalty area, swings across in. It's a disappointing one. It's hacked away by Schär. And it's launched back in again, but Newcastle pick up the ball this time and launch it forward, that time by Joe Linton. And this time now it's Declan Rice over the halfway line. As the referee stopped play here, he has. I'm not sure why exactly, because it's not a head injury. But it's Joe Linton is down right now. And you can just see this here. See, is he? No, it's not really a head injury. I'm not really sure why the referee stopped play there, but he did. And Joel Linton is just receiving some treatment now. And you are listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. The player of the match on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. And Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. Just to let you know, this game is also being brought to you by Turton Talks Football. Please feel free to subscribe to Turton Talks Football if you're enjoying what you're hearing. And please feel free to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Commentary Hub, and like our Twitter page at Commentary Live 1. So Joe Linton now just being helped onto his feet, and it's been just taken off the field. I guess it's going to do the usual of coming off the field and then having to come back on. And it just looks, he seems okay. He's talking away there. There's no further action taken by the Newcastle bench in terms of a substitution. And sportingly, Newcastle return the ball to Arsenal, and Joe Linton will get the ball. We'll be back on in just a moment here. Here's Declan Rice, just inside his own half of the field. Declan Rice, he's just going to look for options here. He finds Gabriel, and Gabriel's just slowed it down to a walking pace. gives it back to Declan Rice. At this point, looking for options. He's got Ben White down this near side. Joel Linton frantically waving to get back on the pitch. Stuart Atwell's not letting him at the moment. And it's down this near side there to Kai Havertz. He drops it back to Ben White. Still Joel Linton screaming to come back on. He's finally allowed back on. Declan Rice over on the far side to Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli drops the ball back here to Declan Rice. Gives the ball to Jorginho, to Ben White. Now midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. It's played forward. Oh, nice turn there by Bukayo Saka. And he gets the ball back to Kai Havertz in the penalty area. Oh, Kai Havertz was not able to gain any sort of control over that. And Newcastle just trying to bring the ball away, but Arsenal win it back. But there's a foul on Callum Wilson by William Saliba, and Newcastle United will get a free kick midway inside their own half of the field. So we have 10 minutes gone here at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0. My name's Paul James, and thanks for joining me today for this coverage from St James's Park on the Commentary Hub. This unofficial match commentary. And the ball is played to Dan Burn from the free kick. It's now picked up by Anthony Gordon. Good work from him. Moves across the middle of the park, and he plays it over on the far side to Trippier. Trippier's got Miguel Almiron in front of him. Here's Langstaff, drops it back to Trippier, and now it's back with Lascelles, who gives the ball to Fabian Schär. Schär plays the ball forward to Joel Linton. Joel Linton drops it back there in the midfield to Guimaraes. Played forward by Dan Burn, chasing this one and covering is William Saliba. He doesn't need to really. The ball goes out of play. It's a very disappointing ball, and it's going to be a throw-in to Arsenal. And Callum Wilson there just taking a look at what's going on around him, trying to direct his defence, and the throw-in is going to be taken by Ben White, who's just taking his time with this at the moment, taking a real long time, and he throws the ball forward to Bukayo Saka, who's barely able to stay on his feet, and it goes out of play off Bukayo Saka for a throw-in to Newcastle. It's taken quickly by Dan Burn, but good work by Bukayo Saka in winning that back, and he's fouled by Joel Linton, and it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal with 12 minutes gone here at St James's Park. Thank you so much for joining us. If you do feel like you want to comment on the game, if you have any thoughts and opinions on either team, if you're a fan of either team, please feel free to comment. The only the only stipulation we ask, please, is that you keep it clean. We are in afternoon in the UK, so outside of the usual adult hours, as you might say, and it's back with Saliba. Saliba drops it back to David Raya. Raya just plays the ball forward to Jorginho. Jorginho gives it to William Saliba. If you do comment, I'll do my best to read these comments out on the air for you as well. Here is Takahiro Tomiyasu. He goes back to the goalkeeper, David Raya. And David Raya plays it long, looking for Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah just heads it down to Rice. Rice knocks it back to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu gets the ball back off Gabriel, and he gives the ball now to Jorginho. Jorginho, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, he gives it to Ben White. Forward there to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka just drops it back to White again and launches it forward, looking for Kai Havertz. Good win at the header that time by Dan Burn. Dan Burn finds Longstaff, but Longstaff has given the ball away now. And here's Bukayo Saka, Eddie Nketiah rather. Eddie Nketiah has got the ball in front of Dan Burn. He's just looking for options here. He drops the ball back, and he finds Jorginho, the Italian international. Gives it to Tomiyasu. Down this near side to Ben White. Across to Bukayo Saka, but that's a good challenge by Longstaff. And Newcastle can now try to come away. Bruno Guimaraes surrounded by 3 Arsenal players, and he's been mugged. And Tomiyasu has the shot. It comes off a Newcastle defender, and it goes behind for a corner, I believe. Let's just take a look at this. Newcastle got caught out here. Guimaraes was surrounded, and yes, it looks like it might have come off Dan Burn from the shot from Tomiyasu. Indeed, it did, and it's going to be a corner to the Arsenal. And Bukayo Saka is over this one, and it looks like he's going to in-swing this as Arsenal load the Newcastle United 6-yard box. Eddie Nketiah in there, Saliba in there, Gabriel in there. And Tomiyasu and Kai Havertz as Newcastle marking tightly. Plays it short, does Saka instead. To Declan Rice, down to the edge of the area there to Jorginho. Jorginho on the shot is blocked, and it breaks loose for Anthony Gordon. And Anthony Gordon plays it off Declan Rice, and it's going to be a throw-in, and that attack breaks down for Arsenal. And the throw-in to be taken by Dan Burn. And it is 15 minutes gone. It is Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0. And the ball is knocked out of play by Ben White for a throw-in midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. And it's Dan Burn going to be taking the throw-in here. Dan Burn just looking for options. He's stealing a few yards as well. And he just tries to lift it up to Joe Linton, who flicks it on looking for Anthony Gordon. But another good challenge by Ben White. That ball goes out of play. It's going to be another throw-in for Newcastle again, this time midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, taken quickly by Dan Burn, gives it to Joe Linton. Joe Linton goes all the way back to Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles plays a rush ball forward, but he only manages to find Ben White. Ben White now has got the ball. He goes back to David Raya. David Raya just calmly plays it across the penalty area to Gabriel, really putting Gabriel under pressure there. And it's a foul by Miguel Almiron. The assistant on the far side waved his flag. Almiron disagrees and is now remonstrating with the official before finally walking away. Interesting thing about Almiron is he always has a smile on his face, even when he has a disagreement. So that's interesting. Almiron, of course, has not been quite as consistent this season. He's had 10 appearances this season. He's got just 2 goals in the Premier League, not quite the revolution that he had last season, but we all know that Almiron is still a threat to this Arsenal defence. And there is Eddie Howe. David Raya is going to take this free kick, and it looks like he's going to go long. Plays it long over the halfway line. He's looking for Eddie Nketiah, who gets up for the header, but he's outstripped with the header there by Jamal Lascelles, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. And it's just inside the Newcastle half of the field, and it's going to be taken by Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu just looking for options right now. The Newcastle fans not particularly happy with how long Tomiyasu is taking with this. And it goes all the way back to Gabriel, who goes all the way back to David Raya, and that was kind of rushed, but Raya controls that well, finds Ben White, and gives the ball to Kai Havertz, who plays the ball into the middle of the park to Martinelli, and he's all cross there looking for Declan Rice, but Declan Rice, it was just a bit too far away from him, and Newcastle can now come away with the ball with Kieran Trippier. Trippier drops the ball to Guimaraes. Guimaraes, a wonderful pass, or at least it looked like that was until Gabriel just got in the way of that pass. And now Arsenal can move forward. And it's Ben White. Ben White, he's just under pressure here by Anthony Gordon. He keeps the ball in play according to the official. Jorginho has the ball here now. He plays the ball to Declan Rice, midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. Back to Jorginho. He's got Ben White down this right-hand side. Finds Bukayo Saka. Flicked on by Kai Havertz, but the flick on was not good. And Sean Langstaff just nips in and clears the ball. And it's now with Joe Linton. Joe Linton plays the ball forward, and it's intercepted by Tomiyasu, but it comes right back, actually, to Joe Linton. And he gets another chance here, but Joe Linton is dispossessed by Nketiah. And now Nketiah approaching the penalty area. Bad giveaway by Joe Linton, but Nketiah still has it on the edge of the area. He goes down. The referee says no foul, and Bruno Guimaraes can now come forward on the break for Newcastle. It's played forward to Miguel Almiron. Wilson desperately trying to get in the box along with Gordon. Finds Callum Wilson on the edge of the penalty area. Back to Almiron. And Almiron poorly controls that. And now Arsenal have the opportunity to go on the break. It's Declan Rice storming forward. He's got Eddie Nketiah and Martinelli alongside him. He finds Nketiah. Back to Bukayo Saka. Saka gets a shot away. Bounces to Rice. Rice this time finds Martinelli in the penalty area. Martinelli launches the ball in, looking for Nketiah. It's headed out, but only as far as Bukayo Saka. And Bukayo Saka didn't realise how much time he had. And nipping in was Anthony Gordon to make the challenge. And it goes behind for a corner to the Arsenal. And we got a comment from Luke. This game needs someone to do something special. Well, right now we've got attacking on both sides, and we're going to see what comes from this corner. But I would agree, definitely the game could use a goal. 19 minutes gone here. Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0, and it's Saka going to take this corner. Looks like he's going for the in-swinger this time. Nketiah, Gabriel, Havertz are all in there, and it's swung in and it's flicked on and it's bouncing around there, and it looks like Gabriel was being held. Comes back to Jorginho with a shot, but it's blocked. It looked to me like Gabriel was being held there. Here's Martinelli. And it's back to Declan Rice. I wonder whether VAR may have a look at that. We'll see. It's now back with Jorginho. And he gives the ball there to Martinelli. And it's now with Saliba, about 30 yards out. Saliba tries a shot. It takes a deflection and goes behind for a corner to the Arsenal from William Saliba, as Arsenal turning the screws offensively here. Well, Nick Pope is going to have his saving gloves on today, because you can see that Arsenal are still remonstrating the potential hold. And I'm not exactly sure whether VAR actually looked at it. We certainly didn't have any kind of lengthy VAR review. And the corner is going to be taken anyway. And it's going to be taken by Saka, who again launches it in. Oh, good punch out by Nick Pope. Only as far as Jorginho, who gets a shot away, but it is well over. Disappointing effort in the end by Jorginho. Got his foot right underneath that. And it is gone well over the crossbar. He had a bit more time than he realised. I think if there was about 5 goals on top of each other, that still would not have gone in. Not one of Jorginho's best efforts. So we've got a goal kick for Newcastle United, which Nick Pope is going to take. He's not going to go short by the looks of it. Is he going to go long? Yes, indeed he is. And it's right over the halfway line, looking for Callum Wilson. He's not able to get the head on that. Gabriel just gets his foot underneath it and hooks it back into the Newcastle half of the field. Lands for Declan Rice. Declan Rice has got some time. Good ball to Nketiah. Back to Rice. Declan Rice storming into the penalty area now. He tries to get the cross away, but that is a good block by Jamal Lascelles. Declan Rice looking lively early on for Arsenal. And once again, tried to get the cross away there. It's a good interception by Jamal Lascelles. And it's going to be a corner to the Gunners on the far side this time, which I suspect Gabriel Martinelli will take. And we have 22 minutes gone here at St James's Park. It is Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0. And going to see it's going to be Gabriel Martinelli. He just plays it short, in fact, to Declan Rice. Martinelli gets it back. Is he going to swing the crossing this time? Gets in the penalty area. It's headed on by Nketiah, but just over the crossbar. Just couldn't get his head over it. Eddie Nketiah coming off a hat-trick against Sheffield United. Newcastle are really going to have to watch Eddie Nketiah today. And the cross coming in from Martinelli, it was a decent cross. Nketiah just not able to get his head over it, and it is a goal kick. And Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0, and Nick Pope now with the goal kick, who's once again going to go long downfield over the halfway line. And it's just headed on by Longstaff, and getting there is Jorginho before Anthony Gordon. He gives it back to Raya, who puts his foot through it downfield, and it goes out of play for a throw-in to Newcastle midway inside their own half of the field. Eddie Howe, what a wonderful job he's done at Newcastle. Got them into the Champions League. And yes, I know there's a lot of money on the table at Newcastle to buy players, but you can't always make that excuse and say that that's the reason. Take a look at Chelsea. They're struggling at the moment, and they've got a lot of money as well. Here's Trippier. Finds Miguel Almiron over the halfway line. Almiron approaching Tomiyasu, just gets away from Tomiyasu. It's Almiron. He's over by the corner flag, and his pass was disappointing, and that's intercepted comfortably by Declan Rice, who really has been all over the park in this first half. And he's fouled this time, and it's going to be a free kick. And Miguel Almiron there. Pulled up for that one. Let's just take a look. It looks like he just catches Declan Rice as he goes for the ball. Yeah, it's just catches him. It's a forwards tackle, really. At least that's what they used to call it, a forwards tackle. I don't know whether they still call it that now. And there's Jason Tyndall for Newcastle on the bench as well. Mikel Arteta. He'll want a response from his side after the disappointing loss in midweek to West Ham. It's launched long, and Lascelles just tries to head the ball away. And Eddie Nketiah just tries to win the ball back off Trippier, but he goes all the way back to Nick Pope. And that is a very disappointing clearance by Nick Pope. It goes out of play for a throw-in. And you can see here, Mikel Arteta is on the edge of his technical area. It's going to be a throw-in to Arsenal, just inside the Newcastle half of the field to be taken by Tomiyasu. And it goes all the way to back to Gabriel. And that's a disappointing ball by Gabriel, straight to Miguel Almiron. Almiron plays the ball to Wilson inside the penalty area. He's just trying to get away from Gabriel, but better defending that time by Gabriel. After giving the ball away, he fought back to make sure that he did not do any more damage. Great work by Gabriel defensively there. As you saw Callum Wilson just getting into the penalty area. Good, strong defensive work by Gabriel to usher that ball out of play. And that's good work by the Arsenal defender. And the ball is cleared long downfield. It's headed on by Nketiah, but chasing it also was Havertz. And it's hooked away there by Guimaraes, but only as far as Ben White. Ben White's dispossessed, but Arsenal win it back with Jorginho. And it's back with Gabriel. He gives it back to the goalkeeper, David Raya. And David Raya just clears the ball downfield there, and it's knocked on by Eddie Nketiah to Kai Havertz. Back now with Bukayo Saka. Good ball by Saka to Declan Rice. Declan Rice has really been a thorn in this Newcastle side in the first half. Here's Martinelli. Back to Declan Rice. And back to Martinelli, edge of the penalty area. Finds Bukayo Saka. Back to Jorginho, launching it into the box, looking for Tomiyasu. But it's just over the head of the Japanese international, and it goes behind for a goal kick. And you are listening to alternative commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Commentary Services is the official player of the match sponsor on the Hub. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. This game is also brought to you by Turton Talks Football. Please subscribe if you enjoy what you're seeing. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Commentary Hub. As it's cleared downfield by Nick Pope, headed on by Longstaff and Wilson, just trying to bring the ball under pressure. And Stuart Atwell blows his whistle, and the judges Wilson to have been fouled, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. And just down there is looks like it's Dan Burn who's down there right now. Looks like he's fallen awkwardly. Yes, that's a very, very painful fall. Just falls right on the small of his back. Yeah, that's very painful. He's on his feet right now. He's the big man. Dan Burn's tough. He's a no-nonsense defender. And believe me, if he's holding any part of his body, it's hurting. He's on his feet now and just trying to run it off. And over this free kick is Anthony Gordon and Kieran Trippier. As we approach the half-hour mark, it is Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0 at St James's Park. Trippier is over it, and it looks like it may even be Anthony Gordon. Gordon steps over it and gives it to Trippier. Trippier just drops the ball back to Anthony Gordon. Gordon gives the ball edge of the penalty area to Guimaraes. Guimaraes launches it on the far side to Longstaff, who heads it down. It's bouncing in front to Wilson! Oh, he should have scored! What a chance for Callum Wilson! The best chance of the half by far. And it just lands on the edge of the penalty area. On the edge of the 6-yard box. Look at this. It's Anthony Gordon who first swings it in. And Guimaraes swings it in, and it's headed on by Longstaff. It just bounces to Wilson just inside the 6-yard box. Unfortunately for Wilson, he just gets his foot underneath it. But whoa, what a chance. It might have even come off the Arsenal defender, but a goal kick has been given, and it's cleared downfield by Raya. But what a chance for Wilson. And it's now with Joel Linton for Newcastle. Joel Linton drops the ball to Dan Burn. Dan Burn puts his foot through it. and David Raya will just let that go behind for a goal kick. And well, still moving fairly gingerly is Dan Burn. And I wonder if he'll make it to half time and maybe the physio can have a look at it. But it's a goal kick, and Arsenal, it's going to be Gabriel who's just going to, let's see what he's going to do with this. He's just going to knock it back into the 6-yard box. I'll never understand why teams do that, but he's done that. And here is Ben White. Ben White plays the ball looking for Bukayo Saka. But it looks like that's a foul on Saka. Just went through the back of Bukayo Saka there. And we'll just take a look at that again. Yes, that's Dan Burn. He just went right through the back of Saka there. That's going to be a free kick to the Arsenal. And it's 0-0 at St James's Park. If you're just joining us, you haven't missed a great deal. Game needs a goal, really. And it's going to be taken quickly here by Ben White. Launch forward, looking for Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah knocks it down to Bukayo Saka, and Nketiah gets the ball back. Gives the ball to Jorginho, who's in sort of the Martin Odegaard role at the moment. And here's Tomiyasu. He's got options in front of him. Instead, he just drops it back there to Martinelli. Martinelli gives the ball to Jorginho again. And back to Saliba. Saliba to Ben White. And just gives the ball there to Bukayo Saka. And Bukayo Saka is caught again by Dan Burn. And you have to wonder whether Stuart Atwell is going to take action here. He's getting complaints from the Arsenal players, including Jorginho. But Dan Burn is doing the smart thing and moving away. But it was a late challenge. And it's a second one by Dan Burn. He went through the back of Bukayo Saka a few moments ago. We're just waiting to see if the referee is going to take any further action. It doesn't look like it, but you have to wonder if Dan Burn does another one, he's going to end up in the referee's notebook. And the free kick has Martinelli and Bukayo Saka standing over it. It's about 35 yards away out the penalty area in the corner. It's swung in by Martinelli, headed up into the air by Joe Linton, but only really as far as Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu drops the ball back there to Declan Rice, back to Jorginho. Jorginho goes all the way back to Ben White. Ben White plays the ball long and forward. That's an excellent ball to find Martinelli on the right-hand side. Martinelli just loses the ball, though, to Anthony Gordon. And Anthony Gordon just tries to break away, but that's a good challenge by Kai Havertz. It goes out of play for a throw-in. And it's Joe Linton gives the ball to Longstaff. Longstaff over on the far side to Trippier. Trippier, right-hand side. Trippier gives the ball to Miguel Almiron. Almiron on the corner of the penalty area, gives it back to Trippier, just lifted into the penalty area looking for Guimaraes, headed out by Eddie Nketiah. It's going to be a throw into Newcastle, level with the Arsenal penalty area. It's taken quickly and it's Guimaraes again. Guimaraes just knocks the ball back to Trippier. Trippier back to Guimaraes. Guimaraes looking at the options available. He gives it to Joe Linton. Joe Linton drops it back to Fabian Schär. Schär, long ball over on the far side there, but that's comfortably dealt with by Martinelli and just nipping in his Eddie Nketiah to make sure Arsenal maintain possession. But a rather woeful clearance by Gabriel just hands the ball back to Newcastle. It goes out of play. It's going to be a throw-in and it's going to be taken by Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles just takes the throw-in quickly and throws it to Fabian Schär. Schär plays the ball long, looking for Anthony Gordon, but that's good work that time by Ben White. But Ben White loses the ball to Wilson. Good play by Wilson. Just turns away from Ben White and Kai Havertz and gives the ball now to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon over by the touchline, drops it down to Dan Burn, still holding the small of his back. He looks in a lot of pain. Here's Guimaraes. Guimaraes just drops it back there to Lascelles. Played forward from Trippier to Almiron. Almiron turns, gives it to Longstaff, back to Almiron, edge of the penalty area. Knocked in by Guimaraes. And it's picked up by Joe Linton. Still edge of the penalty area now. Chasing this one is Longstaff. Good work over on the far side by Declan Rice. Gets something onto that, puts the ball out of play. And it's a throw into Newcastle right by the corner flag. Newcastle putting pressure on this Arsenal defence, asking questions. And here's Fabian Schär now. He drops it all the way back to Fabian Schär, almost in the centre circle. Fabian Schär finds Joe Linton. And over this one is Anthony Gordon. Good work by him. Gives it to Guimaraes, who in turn gives it to Fabian Schär. Tries to get the cross in. It comes off the defender, and Fabian Schär will have another go at this. He's throwing level with the penalty area, tying up his shoelace, his bootlace. There is Declan Rice. Everybody's just stopped. Declan Rice trying to do it as quick as he can, in fairness. But the Newcastle players and fans not appreciating this. Dan Burn just grabbing a quick drink. And he's going to take this throw in. Dan Burn, level with the Arsenal penalty area, left-hand side. Gives the ball to Joe Linton, who drops it back to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär into the centre circle there to Jamal Lascelles. Over to Kieran Trippier, who knocks the ball forward to Miguel Almiron. Almiron gives it to Bruno Guimaraes, drops it back to Kieran Trippier. It's now back with Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes goes all the way back into his own half to Jamal Lascelles. And he gives it to Fabian Schär. Plays the ball forward to Joel Linton. And it's now picked up here by Saka. Saka plays the ball forward and headed on by Kai Havertz. Saka, oh, that's a wonderful challenge by Fabian Schär. Had he not made that challenge, and that's a really late challenge. And it's a terrible challenge by Kai Havertz. And the Newcastle players are up in arms. And they are really getting in the face of Kai Havertz. The Arsenal players are trying to push Havertz away. But that really was a brutal challenge by Kai Havertz. And the yellow card is out. I wonder whether it's going to be reviewed by VAR. That is a cynical challenge. And a yellow card for Anthony Gordon for protesting. But, I mean, obviously they want more action than a yellow card. It's on Sean Langstaff. But let's have a look at this challenge by Kai Havertz. And you see him just running across there. And, oh, it's two-footed. Oh, I mean, it's borderline. I don't think it's always got, well, you know, the studs were up. Now, he didn't make contact with the studs, but the studs were up. That was a terrible, terrible challenge by Kai Havertz. And I suspect that, for me, that's borderline. And Trippier and Gordon are still remonstrating with Stuart Atwell, the referee. Gordon's already been booked. He needs to step away. Kieran Trippier was over there, and there's another card that has been issued. We're just going to try and we know Havertz booked. We know Gordon has been booked. I thought the referee had the card out again, but we're gonna we'll know for certain in a moment. And Anthony Gordon has definitely been booked. He needs to step away at this point before he talks himself into another yellow card. And now Jamal Lascelles is having words with Kai Havertz, and well, he might. And Jorginho is trying to push Havertz away, who himself has a bit of a temper. And it looks like, just to be clear, there's still who's he booking now? Stuart Atwell's booking somebody else now as the remonstrations continue. It's Sean Longstaff who's booked this time. And Fabian Schär's having a word, and he's just been booked. So we're just going to go through the list of yellow cards in a moment, as they are going to, I suspect they will look at this, because the referee has pointed to his headset. So I think we've got a VAR review here for the challenge initially. We'll just, I think we do have a VAR review. There's the referee pointed to his headset in any case. So I assume we are going to get a VAR review, or are we? No, the game's going to get back underway. So it's no VAR review. We'll go through the yellow cards in a moment again. So here's Miguel Almiron. Almiron gets across into the back post, and it goes behind for a goal kick. So Kai Havertz is booked for the challenge. Anthony Gordon is booked for remonstrating. Sean Longstaff is booked for remonstrating, and so is Fabian Schär. So 3 yellow cards for the complaints. And now David Raya with the goal kick. And well, we've had some excitement. Downfield by David Raya. Up there is Eddie Nketiah, just tries to flick that ball on for Kai Havertz. He's going to have to be very, very careful now. And that's another late challenge. And this time it's by Declan Rice. And it's going to be a free kick. Not quite as bad as the previous one, mind you. But it doesn't look like any further action is going to be taken by Stuart Atwell, as this game is threatening to get out of control, really. I'm not even sure how much contact was really made there by Declan Rice. Let's have a look. Yes, he just catches the corner of Lascelles' ankle. That's a free kick, and Newcastle are going to have the free kick now. And Stuart Atwell at the centre of things here today. 3 yellow cards issued for the complaints. And it's played forward now from the free kick. It's headed on by Longstaff and won back by Almiron in the penalty area. Almiron, he just pulls back there and he drops it to Trippier. Trippier with a cross. There's Wilson with the header. Oh, and it just fell for Anthony Gordon, but he wasn't able to control it. It bounced off his leg and rolled through to David Raya, but we got the cross in here from Trippier. It was headed on by Wilson, and I guess Anthony Gordon wasn't expecting it. It just rolls off Gordon's foot, and David Raya just gets down to make the comfortable stop. And here's Martinelli now for Arsenal. It's end-to-end stuff here. Here's Declan Rice, long ball over on the far side to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka just drops it back there to Ben White. White to Jorginho. Jorginho over on the far side to Gabriel. Gabriel, just looking at what options he's got available. Oh, he gives it to Martinelli. Martinelli's got Kieran Trippier in front of him and gives it to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu. And drops it back there to Gabriel. Gabriel, long ball down on this near side to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka to Ben White, knocked on there by Kai Havertz to Bukayo Saka. Back to Havertz. Flicked up. Oh, it was a cheeky ball into the box by Jorginho, but none of the Arsenal forwards read it, and it goes through to Nick Pope. As we look again at that opportunity for Anthony Gordon, it was just headed on by the header actually came off Lascelles instead of Wilson. They both went up for it, but it just bounced off the leg of Anthony Gordon, and I guess he wasn't expecting it. Jorginho just nips in ahead of Joel Linton there, but Newcastle win the ball back, and they're streaming forward now with Callum Wilson, and he gives the ball to Kieran Trippier. Newcastle breaking in numbers, but Kieran Trippier's ball didn't. Well, Miguel Almiron didn't read that, and in the end, the ball just goes behind for a goal kick. As we've got 2 minutes left rather in this first half at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0. But we've had a little bit of controversy, but we've had no real attempts on goal by either side on target in any case. And it's really been one of them games that's really crying out for a goal. Both sides have certainly been attacking in their endeavours, but there hasn't really been any, just that little bit of brilliance that's needed. And the goal kick now by David Raya is downfield. It's just headed on by Kai Havertz. Havertz surrounded by 3 players. Good work by him. Finds Eddie Nketiah in the penalty area. He goes down. No penalty there. There was nothing wrong with that. And it's cleared out of play by Jamal Lascelles, the Newcastle captain. You see Kai Havertz there. He had 3 Newcastle players around him. It was a good ball to Nketiah. Lascelles just gets in front of shoulder to shoulder. Not much in that for me. And it'll be Joe Linton now. Joe Linton plays the ball along to the opposite side of the field to Kieran Trippier, right-hand side. Kieran Trippier over the halfway line. Just looking for options here. He's midway inside now, the Arsenal half of the field, and it's Bruno Guimaraes. Oh, good ball by Guimaraes to Joel Linton. Joel Linton with a shot. It's blocked by Gabriel, but it bounces to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon back to Guimaraes with a shot, but it's wide. And that's basically been the tale of the first half. You can just Just looking at the stats here, the goal attempts have been 7 by Arsenal and 2 by Newcastle, but of course no one has yet hit target in terms of getting a shot on goal. Just wondering how long our fourth official, Graham Scott, is going to add on to this first half. We're going to find that out for you shortly. And it's now with William Saliba. William Saliba under pressure there by Anthony Gordon, but William Saliba just turns away, and now Arsenal trying to break away. It's Ben White to Jorginho. Jorginho across the ball to Martinelli. Tomiyasu now. Chance for Arsenal to break. 4-on-3 if they can hurry. Here is Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu tries to get the cross in, but it's a good block by Kieran Trippier. And it's one back. And here is Guimaraes. Guimaraes back to Trippier. Good play this by Newcastle. Playing out from the back, it's Almiron. Under pressure, the ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. And we have 4 minutes stoppage time. And largely that is due to the tackle by Kai Havertz that created that long stoppage. Bruno Guimaraes there. He's just limping a little bit. He seems okay. Wonder if that's just an impact knock. And here is Joel Linton, almost playing himself into pressure right in front of Nketiah and Havertz. But here is Lascelles. Lascelles drops it back to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär, midway inside his own half. Coming forward now, approaching the halfway line. Plays the ball there to Longstaff. Good ball by Longstaff looking for Wilson, but good work by Saliba, intercepting that and giving the ball to Saka. Back to Saliba. And here's Declan Rice, who's, my opinion, has been the best player on the field in the first half. Declan Rice plays the ball forward. And here is Tomiyasu in the penalty area. Tomiyasu, can he get a shot in? He does, and it's the first shot on target. And it's actually Martinelli rather, not Tomiyasu. Just gets the shot on target there. But it's a comfortable save by Nick Pope, one you'd expect him to make all day long. But that's the first effort on target from either side. And we had to wait till the 47th minute to see that. And it's cleared downfield by Nick Pope. And up there was Dan Burn again. Looks like it might have come off Dan Burn, who's still clutching his back. I'm sure the physio will have a look at Dan Burn at half-time and make a decision on whether or not he can come out onto the field for the second half. At half-time, by the way, I'll go through all the Premier League scores for the day. And then we will take a break. And we'll be back for the second half. And the throw-in is taken quickly. It's now with Bukayo Saka. Just over the halfway line, right-hand side. The ball comes off Anthony Gordon, or does it? Bukayo Saka's remonstrating. The throw-in is given to Newcastle, and it was taken quickly, and there's a foul on Fabian Schär, and it's going to be, on Bruno Guimaraes, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle. And, there's shoving going on there now between Bruno Guimaraes and Declan Rice, and it's kicking off again, and the two teams trying to get in, trying to separate the two. But that was a shove by Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes has not been booked yet, but this is becoming pretty heated between these two teams. That's the second time in this first half that there's been a coming together. And, Bruno Guimaraes just kicked the ball there against Kai Havertz, which is what Declan Rice took exception to. And there was a bit of shoving between the two players. It's good work by Stuart Atwell just to calm it down without the need of any more yellow cards. The ball is played forward and is won by Joel Linton, gives the ball to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon gives the ball to Miguel Almiron. Almiron overlapping is Trippier. Trippier with a cross. It's headed away by Saliba and helped on by Tomiyasu. And here's Martinelli over on the far side, surrounded by Guimaraes and Almiron. The ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Newcastle. Cross coming in there. That's good work by Saliba, because just right there was Callum Wilson. Throwing is taken quickly, and it's Fabian Schär now. And it's back with Dan Burn. Dan Burn, forward to Anthony Gordon. Is he fouled there? The referee does say yes. And in fact, it's half-time. The referee does blow for half-time at St James's Park. Well, there's only been one real effort on goal by Gabriel Martinelli, which was a comfortable save. The two teams have huffed and puffed to try to create chances. Arsenal have defended very well, so have Newcastle. It's been a heated encounter involving Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, Bruno Guimaraes and Sean Longstaff. But at half-time at St James's Park, it's Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 0. And what we'll do before we go on a break is we're going to just go through the half-time scores, the full-time scores from the Premier League today. So the early game at Craven Cottage was Fulham 0, Manchester United 1, Brentford 3, West Ham United 2. More misery heaped on Vincent Kompany and Burnley as they fall 2-0 at home today to Crystal Palace. Everton 1, Brighton 1. Manchester City all over Bournemouth, 6-1 there. And Sheffield United 2, Wolves 1. And Newcastle and Arsenal, of course, are 0-0, as you know. So we're going to take a break and we'll be back for the second half. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back for the second half. Welcome back to the start of the second half. If you've just joined us, the score is 0-0 at half time. And I'm just looking at a very, very disappointed Dan Burn there, as it looks like he will not be coming out for the second half. He's just gone to sit on the bench there. He looks absolutely gutted. Looking at him now, he looks extremely disappointed. But let's take a look at some of the comments in the comment section. We've had some in. Luke Turton says Stuart Atwell making a name for himself again, making shocking decisions alongside his mate Madley. I see. Agree with you there. I think it's definitely something questionable with regards to, I think, Havertz and maybe even Bruno Guimaraes as well. I think both were borderline. Arsenal also lost without Odegaard. Yeah, they're definitely missing something, aren't they, Luke? They're definitely missing that sort of spark in midfield. It looks like the substitute coming on for Dan Burn, incidentally, will be Tino Livramento will be on for Dan Burn. And Dan Burn, well, you have to feel sorry for him. A very, very honest and competitive player. Doesn't deserve that. But football quite often is a very cruel sport. And the Newcastle team are now back out onto the field. And we are going to be getting the second half underway shortly here. Arsenal also making their way out as well. I'm just looking to see if Arsenal are going to make any changes themselves. We are just they're just on the way out now. There's the referee and the officials making their way out, and Bruno Guimaraes just leading that Newcastle team back out onto the field. So the one change at half time we know for sure, Dan Burn is off. Tino Livramento is on. Tino Livramento will be wearing number 21. If you're following along by watching the pictures and listening to the commentary as well, as Arsenal make their way back out onto the field. Might be interesting to see if they make any changes. I think both sides need something in the second half. The game desperately needs a goal. Bruno Guimaraes there. Again, probably a little borderline hit for him as well with the shove. I mean, he didn't even get a yellow card for that. But of course, it's Kai Havertz as well, who's going to have to be very, very careful because you feel the next challenge for him that goes wrong could be resulting in a second yellow. So the game is going to get back underway. There are no further changes by the Arsenal team. Newcastle are going to be attacking the goal to our right in the second half, and they get the game back underway. And the ball is played long there. Just looking for just looking for Anthony Gordon there, but the ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. It's taken quickly, and it's all the way back to Jamal Lascelles. Jamal Lascelles just down this side there. He's got a couple of options. He decides to go back to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär plays the ball forward to Joel Linton. Joel Linton does a quick 1-2 with Anthony Gordon. As a substitution is confirmed on the screen here for me. Tino Livramento is the new player that is out there right now. And here's Almiron. Miguel Almiron just plays the ball to Joel Linton. Joel Linton across to Murphy. Sorry, not Murphy, Wilson. And he plays the ball to Kieran Trippier. Trippier just drops it back there and finds Jamal Lascelles again. Lascelles just down this side to Livramento. It's headed on there by Longstaff, but now Arsenal can come away with Eddie Nketiah. Is he fouled there? The referee says no. And it's Almiron, gives the ball to Joel Linton, approaching the penalty area now. Joel Linton over on the far side to Anthony Gordon. Gordon lifts the ball in. It's just headed out there by Declan Rice. And now Kai Havertz can move away. It's 3-on-4 if Arsenal can hurry. It's Kai Havertz. Plays the ball to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka now. He's got some space in front of him. He finds Havertz, but Havertz almost loses the ball. Arsenal do win it back. It's with Declan Rice. Declan Rice to Gabriel Martinelli gets in the penalty area. Martinelli, can he get the cross in? And he's not able to. It goes behind for a goal kick. And, well, that was a promising break for Arsenal. Didn't materialise to anything. Martinelli just getting in. That's good work by Livramento. Good defending by the substitute. And it's going to be a goal kick. Tino Livramento on in replacement of Dan Burn. If you're just joining us, just run through the lineups for you, starting with Newcastle. Pope in goal. Livramento, Shah, Lascelles, Trippier, Joe Linton, Langstaff, Guimaraes, Gordon, Wilson, and Almiron. For Arsenal, no changes at the break. Raya, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Havertz, Jorginho, Rice, Martinelli, Nketiah, and Saka. And here's Arsenal now with Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu, midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. It's Jorginho down this near side. And it's back with Jorginho again. Jorginho just chasing this one is Ben White by the corner flag. He gets the cross in. And up with the header there is Declan Rice. And in the end, it's taken comfortably out of the air by Nick Pope. And Declan Rice appears to have taken a knock, but he's shaking that off. That's a good move by the Arsenal. Good football. Gets the cross in by Ben White. Header by Declan Rice, but it's in the end a comfortable pluck out of the air for Nick Pope. But good build-up by Arsenal. And here is Jamal Lascelles inside his own penalty area. Plays the ball forward there, looking for Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson. Gabriel robs Wilson of the ball, and now it's with Jorginho. Jorginho inside the centre circle. He plays the ball forward, looking for Nketiah. Fantastic ball. Nketiah picks up the ball and plays it across to Saka. Saka overlapping is Ben White. He may pull it back to Jorginho. He does. Back to Declan Rice. Good ball out to Ben White. Ben White tries to get the cross in, but it's a great block there by Anthony Gordon. And now Newcastle can come forward with Miguel Almiron. Almiron drops the ball back to Jorginho. Jorginho is mugged, but it's still able to take the ball with Longstaff. That's good work by Newcastle, winning the ball back when they lose it. Finds Livramento. Livramento getting forward in an advanced position. Livramento drops the ball back there to Almiron, and it's now with Joe Linton. Joe Linton over on the far side there to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon just pulls the ball back there to Fabian Schär. Schär over on the far side. And, it's just played off Bukayo Saka, and it's going to be a throw-in. And you can just see the, again, that challenge. Again, Havertz is lucky. Havertz is so lucky. His foot continues to go through the back of Callum Wilson there. And, you get the feeling that Havertz is just getting away with one today. And it's, yes, and that's a comment by Luke Turton that said, Kai Havertz really is losing control. He needs to be subbed off. And I actually agree with you, Luke. I do think he needs to be subbed off because I think Mikel Arteta needs to do something here because he's going to end up with one man light otherwise. Here's Fabian Schär. And the ball is played forward there to Joe Linton. Joe Linton to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon, good ball, tried to find Callum Wilson there, but a good interception by Gabriel. And he clears the ball into the Newcastle half of the field. And it's Longstaff under pressure there. Longstaff just drops it back to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär. Just looking at the options available. It's Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles forward to Almiron. And here's Longstaff again. Longstaff just drops the ball back. It's across to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär. And just looking at the options with Bruno Guimaraes now with the ball inside the centre circle. Guimaraes just gives the ball to Almiron. Almiron plays the ball forward to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon gives the ball to Almiron. And here's Livramento. Livramento gets the cross in and plucked out the air by David Raya. Good work by him. And now Arsenal can break away with Declan Rice. Declan Rice plays the ball forward and a good interception by Jamal Lascelles. Just gets there ahead of Gabriel Martinelli. And Arsenal now have the ball back. Newcastle now have the ball back. And See here, Newcastle now just looking at what options they have. It's Sean Longstaff. He just drops it back to Jamal Lascelles and back to Nick Pope. Nick Pope cleared downfield, chasing that one there. The head is on by Joel Linton. And here's Bruno Guimaraes chasing it now. Is Anthony Gordon. Gets inside the penalty area. He's got Joel Linton alongside him. Anthony Gordon beats one, beats two. Drops it on the back heel there for Guimaraes. Guimaraes, the cross comes in. And it's cleared away. Oh, and there's a challenge there, a clash between two players. And Nketiah goes down. He's the one adjudged to have been fouled. Anthony Gordon getting up is the other one. Russ Vernon's in the commentary hub. Evening all. Only had the game on at the beginning of the second half. Heard that Havertz and Bruno Guimaraes lucky not to see reds. Yes, particularly Havertz, I would say. But yes, that's quite right, Russ. It's been one of them. Havertz should have maybe even gone in the second half as well. He seems to be, as Luke mentioned earlier, seems to be losing control a little bit. And there is Eddie Howe. Free kick taken quickly by Arsenal. It's pushed forward looking for Bukayo Saka. And another challenge by Kieran Trippier, and it's a foul. And Arsenal will get another opportunity. And the free kick is about 10 yards inside the Newcastle half of the field. And just standing over this one is Martinelli. With Kai Havertz, just looking at the options available. And the ball is launched forward and just headed out there only as far as Tomiyasu, who heads it back to Nketiah, and Nketiah swings and misses, and it's cleared forward now to Callum Wilson. It's Callum Wilson foul, but here is Anthony Gordon, and it's blocked. And Miguel Almiron just gave the ball to Anthony Gordon there, and Anthony Gordon just got the shot away, but it was blocked. It was disappointing. It was an opportunity for Newcastle on the break, but they wasn't able to do much with it. And Arsenal can now break forward, and it's over to Jorginho to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu back to Gabriel and Martinelli. Martinelli back to Gabriel. Plays the ball back to Martinelli as Arsenal now attempted to just build up some pressure inside the Newcastle half of the field. It's Gabriel again. Patient build up by Arsenal. Again, we've only had one shot on goal between the two teams, and that was a tame effort by Gabriel Martinelli, although 9 attempts actually by Arsenal, 4 for Newcastle. Bukayo Saka gets up in the air, but that ball goes over him and goes out of play for a throw into Newcastle. You are listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Commentary Services is the official player of the match sponsor on the Hub. And Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season. And the ball breaks loose at the moment here for Havertz, and Havertz gets the shot away, but it's blocked. And finally coming out to claim it is Nick Pope. And it's a comfortable take, really. But to be honest with you, again, it's really down to the finishing, really. It's just not been there by either side. The final ball as well, it's really not been there by either side. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. The game is also brought to you by Turton Talks Football. Please subscribe if you are interested, if you enjoy what you're hearing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Commentary Hub. And Arsenal now can move forward. Is Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah's got some space in front of him. Oh, he goes down there under the challenge. The referee says play on. It's with Martinelli. And Martinelli drops it back to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu halfway inside the Newcastle half of the field. And it's back with William Saliba. Saliba just looking at what options are available. And he just gives the ball there to Ben White. Ben White lifts the ball forward. Chasing this one is Bukayo Saka, but just marshalling that out of play is the Newcastle United right back, Kieran Trippier. And it goes out of play. And we are Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0 with 11 minutes gone in the second half at St James's Park. And Callum Wilson complaining about an elbow to the referee, and he's going to end up talking himself into trouble if he's not careful. Because Stuart Atwell's been quite happy to waive the yellow card today. And there's a disagreement between Saliba and Wilson. And Stuart Atwell is now just reading them both the riot act. And we're going to get this game back underway now. And Eddie Howe, I just wonder whether he is considering making some changes. Certainly, Mikel Arteta has resisted them right now. And the goal kick is going to be taken by Nick Pope. And it's cleared downfield by Nick Pope. The head up in the air there is by Gabriel. It's a good win by Gabriel. There's a claim against handball against Bukayo Saka. It's not given. They're judged to be accidental. And Jorginho plays the ball forward there, looking for Kai Havertz under pressure. He goes down by Joel Linton. And Joel Linton having words with Kai Havertz. You get the feeling he's trying to wind the German up a little bit. It's going to be a throw-in now to Arsenal. No further action taken by the official. It's going to be taken by Ben White. Ben White, about 6 yards inside the Newcastle half of the field. He throws and finds Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah drops it back to Ben White. And now it's back with Bukayo Saka and then to Ben White again. Down this side from Gabriel to Martinelli. Martinelli back to Declan Rice. Declan Rice drops it back to Ben White. And it is now with Gabriel again. Gabriel across to William Saliba. Back to Jorginho. Jorginho, is he fouled there? The referee says no. Jamal Lascelles tells him to get up. Here's Ben White. Plays it across to Declan Rice. Declan Rice just tries to drop it back to Jorginho, but it's a poor ball. And now Newcastle can break. Oh, it's just gotten in the way of there by William Saliba. Good defending, because if Wilson would have got that, it would have been 2-on-1. Here's Martinelli. Martinelli drops the ball back to Tomiyasu. Back to Martinelli. Gives the ball back to Tomiyasu. The ball is over on the far side here to Ben White. Ben White to Bukayo Saka. Gets into the penalty area, Bukayo Saka. He's got Havertz alongside him. Havertz drops it back to White. White with the cross, and it's a very disappointing one. And goes behind for a goal kick. Well, we've had no goals so far. An hour gone. We haven't really had the best of chances. What we've really had is a lot of scrappy play, and we've had both teams huffing and puffing, trying to create chances, but the passing and the creativity has really just not been there in this game. Desperately needs a goal. Whether or not we'll see one or not, well, that's another matter, but Newcastle are readying another substitution, and it looks like it's going to be Joe Willock. And it's just cleared away there by William Saliba, and it's picked up now by Newcastle, quickly there by Miguel Almiron, and it's played forward by Livramento, but it's won back by Arsenal with Kai Havertz, and it's Gabriel Martinelli, plays the ball to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu gives the ball to Declan Rice. Declan Rice, and Kai Havertz goes down under the challenge, but it's cleared only as far as Jorginho, and it's now with Bukayo Saka, edge of the penalty area. Bukayo Saka back to Jorginho. Jorginho. And it's now with Jorginho, actually. Yes, he plays the ball to Tomiyasu, back to Martinelli. Martinelli gets to the edge of the penalty area, pulls the ball back to Jorginho. Jorginho to Declan Rice. Declan Rice. And now here's Tomiyasu as Declan Rice again. Gives the ball to Gabriel. Gabriel back to Rice, and Rice now chasing this one is Martinelli. Can he get the cross in? It's right away to the back post, but only headed as far away as Rice with the header, and it's just wide. Well, it was headed towards the back post, and it was a headed clearance by Kieran Trippier, but it really wasn't headed far enough away. And it was right to Declan Rice, who headed the ball back in, but it was wide. And we are about to see the emergence of Joe Willock very shortly. And, well, that was a chance, really, for Declan Rice, to be fair. And it looks like it's going to be Callum Wilson who is coming off. And Jacob Murphy is also coming on. So we're just going to take a look here. Callum Wilson off. And we're just going to see who the other person is who's coming off as well. I'm just going to see. It's Miguel Almiron. Okay, so the second and third substitution for Newcastle. Jacob Murphy and Joe Willock are on for Miguel Almiron and Callum Wilson. Guess they're looking to shake up the offense a little bit to see if they can get 3 points out of this game. Still, Arsenal have resisted to make any changes so far. And Anthony Gordon there, and it's going to be a goal kick. So Jacob Murphy wearing 23, Joe Willock 28, as Nick Pope clears the ball downfield, and it's headed on, but goes all the way back into the Newcastle half of the field. And here is Fabian Schär. Schär plays the ball forward, and chasing this one is Joel Linton. Joel Linton, can he find Willock? Willock across the face of goal with a shot, but it goes behind. Is he able to keep it in here? Oh, he has. The player's gone in. The cross has gone into the back post. It's almost in there. It is in there. It's the goal is in there by Anthony Gordon, and Newcastle take the lead, and it is Anthony Gordon. Well, we initially thought the ball may have gone out of play, but it was kept in by Jacob Murphy, and Arsenal are complaining that the ball may have gone out of play. We're going to have a look at that. But Arsenal are surrounding the officials, saying that the ball had gone out of play. We're going to have a look at this again in a moment just to see. I don't know if there's going to be a VAR review on this or not yet. It starts with Joel Linton. His pass was played to across the face of goal by Willock. It was kept in by Jacob Murphy. Arsenal wasn't expecting it. The cross came in. Raya missed it completely, and it came off. It came off the. Well, let's see. Let's have a look. It comes off. Oh, it might have come off the arm of Joel Linton and then was knocked in by Jacob Murphy. We are seeing a possible out of play. We are seeing a VAR review. And we're just looking at this now. And that looks like from there, it's very difficult to tell from that angle. But if we see it just from that angle, it looks out of play to me. But I guess we're going to have to look at another couple of angles. But that may not stand. And, well, we'll just see it here. They're looking again at possible. I mean, they may look at the handball as well. I don't know whether that came off. We're just checking now. We still don't know. They're still looking at it now. They're checking the possible ball out of play, and now they're checking a possible foul. So they're checking two things. They checked the ball out of play. Perhaps they're happy with that, and now they're looking at the foul by Joel Linton. And it does look like he goes into the back of him. And we're going to see this is an important decision. Well, yes, I think that's a foul. And I think that's a foul. He's got both his hands in the back of the Arsenal defender, Gabriel. I think that's a foul. We've got a comment. And we're just going to see. We're just going to. It looks to me like that's a foul to me. And he just goes into the back of him with both arms outstretched. To me, that's a foul. I know Luke says it's not a foul. I think it's a foul. He's got both hands in the back of him. I think that's a foul. But we're going to see anyway. We'll find out soon enough what the final decision is on this. But it's more VAR controversy, as if we've not seen enough of it. But he's also got. They're also Joel Linton. Well, checking possible offside as well. So this VAR review is taking a very, very long time. They're also checking a possible offside now. So we've had the ball out of play. We've had the potential foul. We're now looking at a possible offside. Well, this is. Let's let's see. So he's down. Yes, well, we're still not sure. They're still reviewing this, and we're just gonna wait and see what the official is gonna say. We've checked three things, and it's given. The goal is given. So Newcastle take a one-goal lead, and there you have it. Anthony Gordon gives Newcastle the lead, and well, after all of that, that took about 5 or 6 minutes to go through those three possible scenarios. But the goal stands, and Newcastle have the lead, and Arsenal will get the game back underway, and it's now right back to David Raya. David Raya clears the ball downfield, and it's won back, and there's a foul here. That's ball just Havertz just needs to go away, because if he says anything, he's going to end up talking himself into more trouble. Luke says, "Hope you are preparing to be still commentating at midnight with all these stoppages." And yes, I'm starting to wonder myself, actually, whether this will be going on till midnight at this rate. As we look again at the Newcastle goal, was determined to have been kept in initially by Murphy. Murphy with a cross there. The goalkeeper completely misses it, and it comes off. It comes off Joel Linton and breaks to Jacob Murphy with it's no ways offside. With a simple tapping in the end. So for me, if I don't know why the offside took so long, there's no way he's offside. For me, there might have been some doubt in relation to the Joe Linton possible foul or ball going out of play, but I can't understand why it took so long with the offside potentially. Luke has said word from Stockley Park is there was nothing conclusive for them to disallow the goal. So there we have it. So it's as the rain tumbles down at Newcastle, one of the Newcastle fans has got his shirt off there and is rejoicing. The rain doesn't bother him anyway. It's a throw into Arsenal, and it's Ben White who is going to take it. It's just inside the Arsenal half of the field, and he throws it back there to Gabriel. Gabriel just plays the ball back to Ben White, and it's Jorginho now for Arsenal. And he gives the ball to Declan Rice. Declan Rice now over the halfway line. He's got options available, and he goes down now to the Gabriel Martinelli on the left-hand side. And Martinelli again, that's a fine challenge that time by Tino Livramento. The throw is taken quickly though, and it's back with Martinelli. Martinelli has got options in front of him. He's got two Newcastle players around him. He just drops the ball back to Declan Rice. Declan Rice gives the ball to Jorginho. Jorginho over on the far side there to William Saliba. Back to Gabriel. Gabriel gives the ball to Declan Rice. Declan Rice midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. And it's right back to Gabriel again. 20 minutes to go here. It's Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0, if you've just joined us. And the ball is down on the far side there. And it's back with Jorginho. Jorginho gives it to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka drops it back to be picked up by William Saliba. Saliba again gives the ball over to Gabriel. Gabriel now down to Martinelli. Martinelli plays the ball forward, but Tino Livramento is going to pick up the loose ball here by the corner flag, and he just kicks the ball out of play for a throw, and he does prevent the corner, or so it looks like, or did he? No, he did not prevent the corner, and Arsenal will get a corner kick here, and it's going to be taken by Gabriel Martinelli, and the referee is just holding things up a little bit. And inside the penalty area here is Ben White, Saka, and now the referee is going to allow the corner to be taken, is he? Yes, the corner is now going to be taken by Gabriel Martinelli. He's going to swing this one in. Heads up. Oh, it flicked on by, I think it was Joe Linton. Just flicked off Joe Linton and goes behind for another corner to Arsenal, this time on the other side. And Arsenal about readying to make a change. Alexander Zinchenko is readying himself to come on for the Gunners. Well, with Arsenal behind, it's interesting that they're choosing to bring on a defender. But the corner is going to be taken by Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka flicked on by Tomiyasu, and it looks like it may have come off. Yes, it looks like it's going to be a goal kick. Looks like it's come off Tomiyasu last, and Tomiyasu gets up. And I suspect the substitution will be for Takahiro Tomiyasu as a like-for-like switch. We're going to see in a moment whether that is going to be the case. Yes, it looks like it is. So Takahiro Tomiyasu. Oh no, it's Ben White. So Ben White is off, and Zinchenko is on. That's interesting. So Ben White off, Zinchenko on the 73rd minute, and that's the first roll of the dice by Mikel Arteta with 17 minutes to go here. In this Premier League encounter at St James's Park. The ball is played forward by Shah. It's won by Gabriel and headed forward. And it's won back again by Newcastle. And the ball is cleared forward now, and it's looking for Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy just cutting inside. And he's going to get the cross away here. And it's a good challenge there by Gabriel, is it? And it is a goal kick. So Alexander Zinchenko wearing number 35 for Arsenal, and it's going to be a goal kick, which is to be taken by Gabriel. He'll just knock it back into the 6-yard box to David Raya. David Raya gives the ball there to William Saliba, who plays the ball forward, but under pressure there, and losing it is Eddie Nketiah, but he's adjudged to have been fouled by Kieran Trippier. And Arsenal take the free kick quickly. It's now down to Alexander Zinchenko. Zinchenko gives the ball to Martinelli. Martinelli drops it back to Zinchenko. Zinchenko gives the ball to Declan Rice. Declan Rice looking at options available. And he gives the ball to William Saliba. Saliba to Tomiyasu, who switched sides now. Tomiyasu drops the ball back to the goalkeeper, David Raya. David Raya now to Gabriel Martinelli, looking at the options available. Martinelli going forward, finds Eddie Nketiah. And it's now back with Declan Rice. Rice to Zinchenko. Zinchenko back to Declan Rice. Rice plays the ball to Jorginho, and it goes back to Gabriel. Gabriel forward to Martinelli. Martinelli, edge of the penalty area, plays the ball to Jorginho. Zinchenko, patient build-up by Arsenal, looking to get themselves back into this game. And it's now back with William Saliba, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, 15 minutes to go. And it's back with Jorginho. Jorginho to Zinchenko. A wall of Newcastle defenders in front of them. Zinchenko. And it's played over to the far side to Martinelli. He's got Livramento in front of him. Just gets away from Livramento. Cross into the back post. Looking for Bukayo Saka. And it goes behind. Disappointing ball. And it's going to be a goal kick. And you are listening to alternative commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Commentary Services is the official player of the match sponsor on the Hub. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. This game is also brought to you by Turton Talks Football. Please feel free to subscribe to Turton Talks Football if you like what you're hearing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1. And you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Commentary Hub. That's the marketing duties done for the day. And there is more action on the Arsenal bench now as Leandro Trossard is preparing to come on. And we're just going to see who it might be. I suspect it probably will be Martinelli, I would think, but we'll see on what Mikel Arteta has up his sleeve. For now, that substitution is not happening. It's cleared downfield by Nick Pope. and it's picked up in the midfield here by Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz under pressure by Joel Linton. Joel Linton is adjudged to have fouled Kai Havertz, and it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. 6 yards inside. Well, I'd say 6 yards, more like 10 or 12 yards inside the Newcastle half of the field. With Arsenal in the last 10 minutes having 95% of the possession, but not really being able to do much with it. Here's Martinelli. He finds Zinchenko. His attempted pass was blocked, and now Newcastle are coming forward with Almiron. And that is intercepted. That was Joe Murphy, in fact. And it's Murphy again. Murphy drops it back. And it goes all the way back from Livramento back to Jamal Lascelles. Jamal Lascelles across to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär plays the ball forward there. That's a wonderful ball to find Murphy. Can Murphy get behind Zinchenko? But that's good work by the Arsenal defender. Just strongly sees off Murphy there. And it goes back to David Raya, and Arsenal can start from the back. But the referee has... Well, the referee is, oh dear, yes, it looks like Murphy is hurt in some way. I just wonder whether he has maybe popped a shoulder, because he looks in a lot of pain. I just wonder if it's a dislocation. And oh, Jacob Murphy looks furious. Oh dear, if that's a dislocated shoulder, he's going to have to come off. And he's being consoled there by his manager, Eddie Howe. No one wants to see this. This is pretty brutal. And it looks like it's Matt Ritchie who is going to come on in his stead. So Jacob Murphy going off. And Arsenal are just making a couple of substitutions as well. Eddie Nketiah and Jorginho are off. So Nketiah and Jorginho are off. And Fabio Vieira and Leandro Trossard are on. Okay, so one substitution for Newcastle is Matt Ritchie is on for Jacob Murphy. So I'll just run through those substitutions for you in a moment. There was a number of them. Fabio Vieira and Leandro Trossard on for Nketiah and Jorginho, and Matt Ritchie on for Jacob Murphy. So Newcastle now will... the game will be back underway with Martinelli. Martinelli just drops it back there to Zinchenko. Zinchenko forward to Martinelli. And here's Kai Havertz now with a chance. Kai Havertz plays it across. Oh, a good piece of defending that time by Fabian. Good. So I'm not sure exactly how Havertz is still on there, Luke. I'm not sure what happened there. We'll just review those substitutions, because I think my mic was on mute for a moment, but we'll review them in a moment. Leandro Trossard is going to take the corner, and he's going to in-swing this one. Trossard just plays it short, in fact, to Zinchenko. Back to Trossard. Trossard plays the cross in, and it's just headed by Schär and cleared by Joel Linton. So it's only up in the air and headed on, really, by Gabriel. And Leandro Trossard is just chasing this one now, and Joel Linton is defending very, very well. And Jamal Lascelles just manages to clear the ball. And Matt Ritchie is chasing this one down, but good work by Zinchenko. So the Arsenal substitutions are Leandro Trossard and Fabio Vieira. They're wearing 21 and 19 respectively. Eddie Nketiah and Jorginho are the ones replaced. And Newcastle Jacob Murphy is off and Matt Ritchie is on. And so here's Martinelli. Gives the ball to Kai Havertz. Havertz gets a cross in. It's a poor cross, but the clearance header is no good either. And here is Bukayo Saka back to the edge of the area there to Declan Rice, but it's cleared away. So here is William Saliba. And William Saliba, did he just pull up for a moment there? Arsenal could do without another injury.
But the ball is long over on the far side to Martinelli. That's a wonderful pass, but he's determined to be offside. And we have a free kick to Newcastle with 8 minutes to go. Arsenal chasing this game now with 8 minutes left. You have to wonder, they don't really look like they're going to score, and they haven't for nearly all of the game, in all fairness, and Man U neither side has really. And it's going to be, I'm going to have to choose a player of the match in about several minutes' time, and it's not going to be a particularly easy choice, to be perfectly honest. This one is cleared downfield now. And here is Richie. Richie plays the ball forward, and in an offside position there is, it looks like it was an offside position anyway, was Kieran Trippier, and Arsenal will come forward now with Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli drops it to Zinchenko. Zinchenko plays the ball forward looking for Martinelli. He went early again, but this time he's onside. Martinelli pulls the ball there to Kai Havertz. Martinelli crosses the ball in. It's just headed out that time by Longstaff. And here's Tomiyasu to Declan Rice. Rice just coming away there, but looking for options available. Declan Rice plays the ball now to Martinelli. Martinelli back to Declan Rice. And now back to Gabriel, and Gabriel plays it across to William Saliba. On the far side is Tomiyasu. As we approach 6 minutes left in this game at St James's Park, Newcastle United 1, Arsenal 0. And here is Zinchenko. Zinchenko, just looking at the options available, he finds Martinelli down the left-hand side. He's immediately confronted by Livramento. And there's Declan Rice, plays it long over on the far side to Bukayo Saka. That's good defending by Trippier and hooked back in by Vieira, but it goes behind for a goal kick. And it's become very, very, very scrappy at this point. And you can see the crossing. We look at the goal again. It just bounces loose to Anthony Gordon, and well, Anthony Gordon just stuffs the ball into the net, and that gave Newcastle the 1-goal lead. And as we get this game back underway, and it's headed forward there by Jamal Lascelles, and it's picked up there by Willock. And here is Joel Linton. And the ball is picked up now by Zinchenko. Zinchenko just plays the ball forward to Declan Rice. Declan Rice down this near side to Martinelli. Martinelli plays the ball into Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz was a bit slow reacting to that, and it's cleared behind by Jamal Lascelles. Kai Havertz very slow reacting to that. And Lascelles takes advantage of that and hacks it behind for a corner. And it's going to be Leandro Trossard. Trossard now is going to take this corner. Arsenal have 5 minutes to get themselves plus stoppage time. There'll be a lot of it due to the VAR check. And it's going to be swung in by Leandro Trossard. Leandro Trossard swings the ball in, and it's just headed out there by Lascelles, and only finds Zinchenko. Zinchenko back to Trossard. Trossard was about to swing it in. He does. Finds Declan Rice. The ball bouncing around then. And Havertz now. Havertz with the ball again. Gives it to Bukayo Saka. Saka back to Vieira. Vieira, good ball to Martinelli. Martinelli inside the penalty area. Back to Trossard. Can he get the shot away? Trossard, he can, but it's blocked. And Zinchenko heads the ball back down to Martinelli. Martinelli gives it to Zinchenko, and Martinelli chasing the ball in, but Livramento is just going to monitor that going out of play, and Martinelli's insisted that it come off Livramento last. I don't think he's going to get his way though. That's going to be a goal kick. Livramento, good defending by him. He's done well since he's come on in replacement for Dan Burn at half-time. And so the single goal in this game scored by Anthony Gordon on the 64th minute That is the difference between these two teams at the moment. And we've got a free kick now to be taken by Nick Pope. Nick Pope clears the ball downfield, and it's won back there by Anthony. Matt Ritchie was trying to win that ball back, but it breaks loose to Joel Linton. And it's dropped back to Jamal Lascelles, played forward and just hacked away there by Zinchenko. But Joel Linton has the ball now. He just backheels it to Longstaff, and here's Matt Ritchie. Well, the referee is pulling out a card there on Guimaraes. Guimaraes is shown the yellow card. Not quite sure what he did there. Let's take a look at this again. Oh, yes, that was a yes. Okay, Guimaraes just literally shoves Vieira. Again, it's another shove. Very similar to the one in the first half that he didn't get booked for. But he has been booked for this one. So, and that is a suspension for Bruno Guimaraes. And so that yellow card means a suspension for Bruno Guimaraes. Ross says it's very lucky not to see red for that. Probably should have been gone by now. Luke says Bruno Guimaraes is very stupid. Seriously, get a grip of yourself, you silly guy. And the ball is played forward here to Martinelli. And that's a good challenge by Livramento, who's really marshaled Martinelli well, and that's a shove in the back of Livramento as well. So Martinelli showing his frustration there, and everybody just needs to calm down a little bit. There's only 2 minutes left, and I'm about to give my player of the match. And before I give that, I'm just going to give it to my producer, Ross. And let's see. Okay. And just give it to Ross first of all. And the free kick is going to be taken by Nick Pope. Nick Pope clearing the ball downfield, and it's headed on by Gabriel, and Gabriel gives it to Fabian Vieira, and the ball is now found Kai Havertz, who hacks the ball forward into the penalty area, and it's through to Nick Pope, and Nick Pope will just take all the time in the world. And now we're going to name the player of the match, as sponsored by Commentary Services. Today's player of the match goes to Anthony Gordon. Not just the goal, but I think he's been quite effective on that front line of attack on the left-hand side. He's helped create opportunities, been a threat to that Arsenal defence all afternoon. So today's player of the match, as sponsored by Commentary Services, goes to Newcastle United's number 10, Anthony Gordon. And now Arsenal pick up the ball with Fabian Vieira. Vieira gives the ball to Gabriel, who plays the ball forward to Martinelli. Livramento getting in the way there. This time adjudged to have fouled the Brazilian, and it's going to be a free kick. We have 8 minutes stoppage time, as granted to us by fourth official Graham Scott. 8 minutes. And this is largely because of that was a very high challenge. I think Livramento is going to go in the book here. That was a very high challenge, followed by the follow-up as well. So be a yellow card for Livramento. Although he has had a really, really, really good second half. Really marshalled Martinelli. Really a shout-out to him as well, but also a shout-out to Arsenal's Declan Rice. He's also had a wonderful game as well. But the free kick is going to be taken by Fabio Vieira, and it's level with the Newcastle penalty area over by the touchline, left-hand side. And Fabio Vieira just standing over this now. Arsenal still 1 down. They've got some time in stoppage time to try to get this turned around. But they've not really looked like scoring all afternoon, if I'm being totally honest. It's going to be swung in by Fabio Vieira. Vieira, that name holds a lot of weight with Arsenal fans. It's swung in by Vieira, flicked on, but cleared only as far as Trossard. Trossard tries to turn, but he wasn't successful. And here's Joe Willock, I should say, who's the ball goes out to play for a throw-in anyway. And it's picked up from the throw-in. That throw-in was taken rather too quickly. And I don't know if he's going to get another opportunity now from Stuart Atwell. We got 6 minutes left of the 8 minutes in stoppage time. The throw-in was taken very quickly. It wasn't, but it was a poor throw-in in any case. But the throw-in has in fact been reversed. And so it's going to be Livramento now that's going to take the throw-in. So it's just inside his own half of the field, about 5 yards inside the Newcastle half of the field. Livramento forward to Joe Linton. Joe Linton gives it to Matt Ritchie. Matt Ritchie on the chase now, but he's determined to be offside. And you can't believe it. That's unfortunate. And it's going to be a free kick. And it's taken quickly. And here's Declan Rice now, coming forward for Arsenal. Declan Rice, Newcastle falling back into a defensive position. Saliba over on the far side to Bukayo Saka. Saka to Declan Rice. Back to Saka. Back to Declan Rice. Ball is across to Gabriel as Arsenal pushing for the equaliser to Zinchenko. Zinchenko, it looks like he's played it off Longstaff, and it looks like it's going to be an Arsenal corner. So as time ticks well into injury time, Leandro Trossard has the opportunity to swing one in now for Arsenal. And Leandro Trossard is just looking at the options available for Trossard. Looks like he's going to swing this one in. It's flicked on and it comes off Joe Linton, goes all the way back to Trossard, and he just allows it to go behind for another corner. Let's see if he can deliver a better one this time. We've got 4 minutes of the allotted stoppage time remaining in this game. Newcastle still leading by 1-0 at St James's Park, and it's going to be Leandro Trossard. Trossard swung in. It's another poor corner, but it's flicked on and eventually breaks loose to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon forward there. It's got Joe Willock. Chasing this one is Joe Willock, and getting across to block that is Zinchenko, who gives it back to David Raya. Good defensive work by the Ukrainian, and it's now back with Declan Rice over the halfway line. Declan Rice played to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka's ball was disappointing and comfortably won back by Tino Livramento. And here goes Joe Linton breaking forward, but it's won back by Declan Rice. And here's Zinchenko. Zinchenko over the halfway line. And he's got options available and picked up by Tomiyasu to Zinchenko. Zinchenko plays the ball across the park to William Saliba, and over on the far side to Fabian Vieira. Vieira back to Saliba, who crosses the ball in. It's headed out that time, but it's back to Saliba as Arsenal have another chance. And here's Fabio Vieira, gives the ball to Zinchenko. Zinchenko, time running out for the Gunners. What can he do with it, Zinchenko? It's down to Martinelli. Martinelli back to Zinchenko. Can he get the cross in? Zinchenko? He can, but it's blocked there by Jamal Lascelles. Back to Martinelli. His cross is a disappointing one. Chasing it is Gabriel, though. He does keep it in play. Gabriel, that is a foul by Kieran Trippier, surely. And yes, there's no question about that. I don't know why he's complaining. It's a free kick. You can see here. Yes, of course it's a free kick. I love the way when they foul like that, they put their hands in the air as if they haven't touched the player. It's one of the more amusing things in football, I think. So the free kick is going to be taken anyway. And it's going to be taken by Fabio Vieira. He's just standing over this one now, but with 90 seconds left at the minimum of 8 minutes, time really is running out for the Arsenal. And it's going to be taken by Fabio Vieira. He's going to swing this one in. And Oh, up there is Gabriel. Pope comes but barely makes it, and it's out to Martinelli. Martinelli dropped back to to Leandro Trossard. Trossard gets the shot away. It's taken a deflection. I think that was off Jamal Lascelles, and it's going to be another corner. So Arsenal now camping out inside the Newcastle half of the field as we've got 1 minute of stoppage time left in this game. It is Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. The corner to be taken by Leandro Trossard. And Trossard is going to swing this one in. And it's just headed out that time by Matt Ritchie. That's a good header. It's going to be a throw-in now. Poor corner really there by Leandro Trossard. Not at the right time for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka will take this throw-in. Instead, he hands it off to Zinchenko. And again, to Arsenal taking their time. The time is running out for the Gunners. And it's now with William Saliba. And Lucas said, get the ball over the first man for God's sake. Yeah, so I actually think there should be club fines for players that fail to do that. And Joel Linton just knocks the ball out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in. And he's trying to G himself up. The Newcastle fans are on their feet. They're delighted. The referee must be about ready to blow the whistle here. We've played the full 8 minutes. Eddie Howe still making sure his team is composed. It's thrown forward, and that's it. That's full time. That's full time at St James's Park. A goal on 64 minutes from Anthony Gordon, which took several minutes of VAR checking to confirm, is the difference between these two sides. Arsenal really didn't look like scoring in the second half, to be honest. They huffed and they puffed, but they were, at the end of the day, they just were not good enough. They didn't create the chances that they needed, and Newcastle defended very, very well. They also created chances of their own. Anthony Gordon celebrates there. He's the commentary services player of the match today. But it's full time at St James's Park. It is Newcastle United 1, Arsenal 0. And at this point now, I want to thank you all very much for joining me today and for listening to the commentary wherever you have been listening to in the world. But it is full time. It is Newcastle's day, and it is Newcastle United 1, Arsenal 0. Goodbye for now.